There's a close cousin to narcissism that nobody seems to be talking about. According to the Cleveland Clinic, between 0.5 and 5% of all Americans are a narcissist. Honestly, though, that's a very low number. That's like 1 in 200. So the odds of you encountering a narcissist in your daily life are quite low. But there is a certain kind of person that will draw the narcissist out of the crowd. So let's talk about what that person looks like. Hello again, guys. Garrett Prettyman here at Garrett Prettyman Coaching, and I'm also an associate coach. Good guys to great men. Honestly, when I first started reading about narcissism, I was surprised that the descriptions kind of sound like a confident, secure person living a badass life. And I was like, wait a minute, what's so negative about this guy? So I had to go a layer deeper. And for those of you that want to geek out with me, I'm going to show some slides in a minute to show you that narcissism is a scale. There is a pendulum because of insecurity and fear that swings in us, and it can swing into the narcissist, and its close cousin is the opposite, echoism. They're both doing the same thing, though. They're both trying to protect themselves because they feel fearful and insecure. I've heard plenty of people say that if a person is a narcissist, they are always going to be like that. Let's put our preconceived notions on the shelf for a few minutes and realize that narcissism is not a root cause. It's a reaction to a root cause. Now, if a person is choosing narcissistic traits because they were born with a sociopathic brain that is incapable of tuning into how other people feel, then they will always be a narcissist, because the root cause is permanent. Most of us, though, fall in the camp of insecurity. The narcissist feels superior and has a sense of self-worth by putting themselves above others and putting others down. And the echoist feels a sense of superiority by abandoning themselves in the sake of humility and lowliness and by being needed by others. You know, a way to think about narcissists is they're like ants. If you go outside and drop some food on the ground, ants just come out of nowhere and start feeding on it. The narcissist needs things to feed on to want to hang around, to be in your life. There's different ways to respond from insecurity and fear. So when we feel that insecurity and fear, it's like a pendulum that can swing from one side to the next. If it swings far to the one side, the self-protection mechanism is wanting to regain a sense of superiority by self-inflation, and that's the narcissist. So the traits that come with a narcissist are things like just being an asshole, being a bully, being reactive and controlling, invalidating, selfish and mean. See, the person's trying to protect something that feels scary and vulnerable, so they're trying to put up walls to feel okay. The narcissist needs people to be put down under them for them to feel superior. When the pendulum swings far the other way, there can be an attempt to resolve insecurity and fear by feeling a sense of superiority by self-deprecation. And that is the echoist. The echoist, his traits are he's a people pleaser. He fawns others, which means he's always patting them on the back and telling them how amazing they are and appreciating everything about them and never exposing any of his actual real feelings or real vulnerabilities. He's devaluing towards himself, so he throws himself under the bus. He fears praise as he's not worthy. He has poor boundaries. He overserves. He's overly nice. But see, the person is doing it so they find a sense of being valued. And this is why the narcissist and echoist get entangled in relationships. They're both attracted to each other. The narcissist needs somebody to boss around. The echoist, with no boundaries, feels valued by being told what to do. The narcissist wants to put their feelings first and disregard others. The echoist is quick to abandon what he feels and to adopt what somebody else's feels. They're both feeding off of each other. Now, there is a balance to these extremes when it comes to insecurity and fear, and that balance is confidence. You see, you're never going to eradicate insecurity and fear, but we can show up confidently in the face of those things. So what kind of traits emerge from a confident person? There's self-interest, and they can be empathetic. They have boundaries. They're understanding. They're secure within themselves, and they're kind. See, there's a big difference between a kind, confident man and an overly nice, overly serving person trying to find some sense of worth by being self-deprecating. Notice the confident person is not seeking a sense of superiority. to resolve their insecurity and fear. They've learned to just be courageous and okay in the face of insecurity and fear. The narcissist and confident person can't do relationship together. They clash. The things the narcissist needs to feed on don't exist in the confident person. So the narcissist will show themselves to the door when a confident person emerges in their life. Confidence and courage are things we can learn to face our insecurities and fears with. And that's what Mark Dredska and I are teaching men how to do in our Vital Formula to Masculine Confidence course. We're kicking off the next round of this class right after New Year's, so save your seat today by paying for your spot. You will not regret it. Becoming more secure and courageous within yourself is the antidote to a lot of things that happen in relationships. Things will pan out. People that shouldn't be in your life will remove themselves, and you will be able to live life to your terms, and the relationships you want are possible only when you live to your terms. What are your terms? What are your values? Where are your boundaries? We're going to help you get clear on all that stuff. Now, there is another side of narcissism that I'm going to bring up because I've mentioned it in my videos before. And it was first thought of by Esther Perel, but I've noticed it for sure in my own experience. I've seen it play out in other men I work with worldwide. And that is, there's always a little bit of narcissism when it comes to feminine, specifically in her world of erotic intimacy. She isn't capable of tuning in to another person's erotic feelings and passions until she has certain needs met, emotional needs. It's all about her needs, her connection, her mood, her desire that determines whether or not a physical intimacy can emerge with her. I mean, it's pretty relatable that no matter how raging your boner is, it's not going to cause her to tune into you. Your feelings don't mean anything to her in that department until she's been opened. A lot of guys on the internet are getting upset and pointing at women and telling them this is horrible. They should be able to just be different. They can't. They're being what they can be. Think how disempowering it would feel to have a part of you that can't come online unless somebody else provides something first. This puts the man in the leadership position, and the polarity between masculine and feminine cannot happen when we abandon our leadership role. But if we're that guy that's been letting the pendulum swing far with our insecurities and fears, and we've abandoned ourselves and we're trying to seek some sort of sense of self-worth by throwing ourselves under the bus, we're not going to bring out the juicy, erotic, flavorful side of her. We're going to draw in the narcissist. And if we've been the guy that leaned into the narcissist traits of just being the controlling asshole, we're only positioning ourselves to attract women that abandon themselves and have no self-worth and feel codependently attached to us and demand everything from us to be okay. The balance is where it's at. The pendulum can settle in the middle as a confident person. Set yourself up different for this next year and join the Vital Formula to Masculine Confidence course to start emerging as a new man in relationships so you can have a new experience. Thanks for tuning in. We'll chat again next time.